Thursday night shiur at Lashem Shara Gilgulim. Tonight, Bezrat Hashem, we're gonna hopefully finish Hagdama Bet. We are in the midst of explaining Ibur Neshama, but don't forget that the Hagdama Bet, the second chapter, is just an introduction to what Ibur is. In the next chapter, Hagdama Gimel, we're gonna get into a lot of depth into the different kinds of Iburim, into something called Yibum, right? When a brother passes away without kids, his brother marries his sister-in-law, and the child that's born, is really the reincarnation of his dead brother. There is Yibum, there is Ibur, there is Gilgul. The difference between all three of them, there is Ibur Mechayim, there's an Ibur that happens to you while you're walking outside, it just happens to you while you're alive. And there's an Ibur when you just got born. There's many different kinds of levels of Iburim. And, in our main focus up until now was the Iburim that a person gets because he finished, let's say, his nefesh. Let's say he came from the world first time that he was born into this world, right? So our world is which? Asiyah, right? And he had a nefesh, right here. He had a nefesh of the asiyah. Now, the thing is that he can't get his ruach. Why can't he get his ruach? Because it's in somebody else. Or he's a migulgal, or he's a reincarnated person, and he has to die to get the next level. Okay, so what happens in that case? Hashem sends him an ibur neshama of a tzaddik. A tzaddik's soul comes inside of him and acts for him as what? A ruach. But the only difference is that this tzaddik, he doesn't want to suffer your averot. So if he wants, he could leave whenever he wants. Okay?
How can your ruach be in someone else?
We already explained before that, for example, a person was born, right? And he reached his nefesh, his ruach, neshama, he reached them all, but he sinned. And it hit all 5 of the parts. So now, when he comes reincarnated, all 5 of them could get reincarnated separately. So one person turned into 5 people. Who's a prime example of that? Adam Arishon. One person turned into how many people? If we would take how many people have been already in this world, billions of people, right? Let's say
110 billion.
110 billion. Could you imagine how many sparks he had inside? And we're able to calculate. Now the goyim, they weren't inside Adam Arishon. Okay, I'm only talking about the nishamot of the Yehudim, the Jews. The goyim happened at the Nefila, when the souls inside Adam fell down. It got mixed with a samech mem. Okay? And from there came out the souls of the goyim. Okay? Now the goy could be a ger too, right? But he's not in the level of a Jew. He doesn't have the same responsibility. But that's not our discussion today. So we were in page Daf Mem Gim on the bottom, right? So we said that there's 2 ways you could get an ibur. Number 1, if you did a big mitzvah, something extraordinary, out of the ordinary, you could get the ibur of a tzaddik that's not from your shorosh neshama. You have nothing to do with Rabbi Meir Balanes. Your soul comes from, Rabbi Elazar ben Arach. Or your neshama comes from the shorosh of Nachum Ish Gamzu. There isn't a human being in the world that isn't connected to some tzaddikim. Every person is connected to tzaddikim. The root of your soul, right? Let's think of a soul, the first soul, the root, right? Think of it as a tree, right? Here is the roots. Here is the roots. Every tree starts with 3 roots. We call them the Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov of your neshama. Okay? And that then branches out into 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 12. That's the 12 shvatim of your soul. Those 12 shvatim branch out into 70 more roots. Those are the 70 people who went down to Egypt. Those 70 branch out into 600,000 roots. These are all shorashim. These are all just shorashim. These are all just roots. And this is one root. Out of, you have in your body 613 evarim. 613 limbs and sinews. Right? So this is just one. Okay? So those 600,000, each one of those could be broken down into 600,000 nitzotzot. So imagine, take that times 600,000 times 600,000 times 600,000 times 600,000. You have the ability to, So that's why they say our generation is already the end of those 600,000 sparks. We're already at the feet. What does that the feet mean? We're already not shorashim anymore. Yeah. There is no human being today that could be a shorash. Except if he's like the Gadol Hador. In the time of Moshe Rabbeinu, for example, every single person was what? A shorash. That was the beginning of our ummah, beginning of our nation. That's why when they did the Egel HaZahav, the golden calf, right away Hashem said, no jokes. I'm going to wipe them all out. Why? If one root soul makes a sin, okay, everyone else is a spark. But if 600,000 roots make a sin, you ruin the whole body. The whole body is sick. It's not like one part is sick, you could heal it. The whole body was sick. But thank God we had Moshe Rabbeinu, who was not only a root soul, he was a root of a root. Right? He was one of these three. He was able to fix all the people of his generation by praying for them. Moshe was Sheth, he was Hevel, he was Noach. Moshe himself was a new soul. He had a couple of important nishamot inside of him. And then we had Yitro. There's a couple of people in the history of the world that made a very big contributions. When I say contributions, I mean in a very macro scale. Moshe Rabbeinu is one. I'm saying from the beginning of the Jewish people. Second is Yitro. Yitro made a huge contribution to the Jewish people because Moshe was Hevel, Yitro was who? Cain. So whatever Moshe was on the right side, Moshe belonged to the right. Yitro was the same thing, but on the left. You understand? So Yitro, that's what the whole parasha named after him. You understand? Now, not only that, there is also another human being who made a huge contribution in this case, Eliyahu Hanavi. Eliyahu Hanavi is the same kind of soul like Moshe Rabbeinu. Same exact thing. Okay? Now, his job is not finished yet. It's not finished. It's only going to be finished once he's going to bring the Geula. Eliyahu Hanavi. And we know the famous machloket between the Rambam and the Ramban. Will Eliyahu Hanavi come and he's going to bring back smicha? Or will all the rabbis get together, bring back smicha, and then Eliyahu Hanavi is going to come? How are you going to do it? It's a big machloket, the Rambam and the Ramban. Now what's the nafkamina? How do you know Mashiach is coming? For sure, 100%, according to the Kabbalah, according to the Ari, people will start to reach levels of prophecy. It's a prerequisite. For Mashiach to come, the prerequisite is people to start becoming prophets.
Do you have that today?
So, we see no prophets today, right? However, there's a lot of false prophets today. What do we call those? Babas. They see Ayin Hara on you, they see Kishuf, they see this, they see that, all for a nice sum. And there's a rule in Judaism. If you see the Sitra Achra being very strong, on the other side, it means that the Kiddusha is starting to awaken too. Because Zeh L'umat Zeh, Asai Elokim. Okay? So, but prophecy, and the Rambam says this, that the prerequisite for Mashiach, he wrote to the Bnei Teman, is prophecy. If you don't see any prophets, we still have time for Mashiach. Now, prophecy is not something that I'm a very good Jew, boom, I get it one day. Prophecy comes from immense hard work. That's the thing that people don't get. Prophecy comes from a lot of hard work in Torah and mitzvot. It's not just being a good yid and you learn Torah all day. That's not how you get prophecy. You have to work on yourself, do tikkunim, learn the secrets of the Torah, meditate of Hashem's name. How did the Baal Shem Tov and his students do so many miracles? From where they got that? They were good yidden. They did a lot of aliyat man. You know what aliyat man is? To get something from Hashem, you have to ask Him for it. To ask Him for it, how do you do that? You have to give Hashem a gift. Not that Hashem needs your gift, but you're giving Hashem, like you take a diamond out of the ground, it's dirty and ugly, right? You have to give Hashem that diamond, and Hashem chisels it for you and gives you the present. That's called aliyat man. The more mitzvot you do, the more rare the mitzvah, the bigger the diamond that you take out of the ground. And the Ari HaKadosh said, what's the one mitzvah that you could take out hundreds of diamonds from the earth? Talking about holy sparks. What is the one mitzvah that could take them all out? Learning Torah Hasod. The secrets of the Torah, the inner meanings of the Torah. By learning the inner meanings of the Torah, you're able to take out the words of the Bet Lechem Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda Ftaya, in his Hagdama to his Etz HaChaim, to his Pirush in Etz HaChaim, says, you could do, by learning Torah Hasod, in one day, but a person that learns Gemara in 1 year does. With Aliyat Man that you do, by learning the Pnimiyut Torah. The famous Braita of Rabbi Ishmael. The person's going to go up to Shamayim, he's going to ask him, did you learn Chumash? Shtayim Mikra Achat Targum every week. Did you learn Mishnah, Gemara, Chok Israel? Then Hashem is going to say, did you see how my thunder looks? Did you ever try to see how I create? Did you ever want to look in my kavod? Did you ever wonder what my kavod is? That's another way of saying, did you learn the secrets of the Torah? Hashem wants you to learn the secrets of the Torah. Or else there wouldn't be hundreds of books on it. If this was a secret, the rabbis would never publish books on it. That every shlomazel could take it and learn it. Right?
We can't understand it. You know what?
That's why you need a Rebbe. That's why it's called Kabbalah. You have to be mekabel. You have to have a source to get it from. If you're just opening the book by yourself, there were big tzaddikim that were able to do that. They were very rare. For example, one of them is Rabbi Immanuel Chayriki, the Baal Mishnat Hasidim. He didn't have a Rebbe in Torah Hasod. He didn't have one. He reached his high levels by himself. He was the Gilgul of Rabbi Yehuda ben Baba, one of the 10 martyrs, one of the Asara Harogei Malchut, and he was killed. They choked him to death with his own tefillin. They said to him, eat this piece of pig. And he said, I'm not going to eat it. He said, if you're not going to eat it, we're going to kill you over here. They took his tefillin and they choked him to death. And he was the Gilgul of Rabbi Yehuda. He was the Nitzos Nishmat Rabbi Yehuda ben Baba. That's what they reveal about him. That's what Rabbi Immanuel Chayyim Baal Mishnat Hasidim. Okay? So, the way to... Now, how do you know that you're going on the right path? It says, Vayigba libo b'darchei Hashem. What's Vayigba libo b'darchei Hashem? There is no such a kind of thing when you're going in the way of Hashem that you're always in the same level. You always have to jump up and going up. You're going up, going up, going up. How do you get those, how do you say, those charges?
Chizuk?
Yeah, how do you get that chizuk? So one of the ways that we're learning right now, when you do a very rare mitzvah, you could get ibur neshamot tzadikim. And those ibur neshamot tzadikim want to help you. Why? It's good for them on two accounts. Number one, they don't lose out on their olam haba. Because if they want, they could leave whenever they want. And number two, you're making mitzvot that goes into his bank account. Because he's giving you that extra push to keep on going forward. So with that introduction, let's go ahead and finish Hagdama bit. It says Veda. And no, anytime you see the word Veda, it's a very important darush. Ki lifamim, there are instances she'efshar shetit'ale nefesh ha'adam ad shtiyeh nafsho me'olam ha'atzilut. If a person starts at nefesh da'asiyah, okay? Now we learned, and we've been learning this the whole time. How do I get to here? This is my goal. This is the goal. How do I get to this? To the yichida of atzilut. How do I get there? It's a sulam mutzav arsa v'rosho magia shamayma. It's a ladder. You can't just jump from nefesh da'asiyah till yichida da'atzilut. Side note, nobody ever reached that. Mashiach has to reach it, right? He's the yichida of the world. Nobody ever reached that. The highest somebody ever reached was Hayad Atzilut. That was Moshe. And Neshama of Atzilut was reached by Chanuch, I believe. Ruach da Atzilut was reached by Yosef HaTzadik. And Nefesh da Atzilut was reached by a couple of tzaddikim, but Beklalut Eliyahu Hanavi, Nadav and Avihu. They reached those levels. Okay? But your goal, now it's easier for you to do what they did. Why? You're just a nitzotz. the avodah that you have to do is not so hard. You understand? That means you waking up for shacharit early in the morning is like them having to conquer the biggest Yetzer Hara. By you going over shacharit in the morning, that's the error that you have to put together. Okay? So, to get to that, let's say I want to get to Yetzirah, I have to go up from Nefesh to Ruach to Neshama, Gavriel, then comes Chaya, Yechidah. Only once I reached all 5 parts of Asiyah, then I could get to Nefesh, the Yetzirah. Right? Now, it's not that simple though, because each one over here in this room, there's 10 Sfirot. There is Keter, Chokhmah, Binah, Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malchut. Each one is connected to only one Sfira. Okay? So you could be a Netzach, you could be a Hod, you could be a Yesod, you could be a Chokhmah. Now let's say you're Malchut. This is you. You come from the Malchut. So you have to fix Malchut the Nefesh. And then you have to get and fix Malchut the Ruach, Malchut the Neshama, Malchut the Chaya, Malchut the Yechidah. Then you gotta go Malchut the Nefesh, the Yetzirah, Malchut the Ruach, the Yetzirah, Malchut. You have to go up the ladder. There's no jumping up a step. Yeah.
But can you go from Malchut to, in other words, in the 10 Sfirot?
Yeah, you could do that. You could change it. We learned this also, Hagdama Aleph. Remember we learned you could change your Shorosh Neshama. And today I'm going to teach you changing your Shorosh Neshama basically means when you get the Ibur Neshamot Tzadikim. That's how you change your Shorosh Neshama.
What is the Neshama again? Is it the base or like is it the
what?
The Neshama is the base?
The Ibur?
What is the actual base of a person? Does it always change or does it?
A person has something called Kol Tzameh. Kelim, Levushim, Tzlamim, Mochin, and Orot. Okay? So let's take on the most basic context. Your neshama, and its very essence, it's something godly. All right. So let's call it the or. Okay. So your or, which is the narnachi, okay, can be switched for even more zach or, and you do that by getting ibur neshamot tzadikim. Okay.
The consciousness of a person.
The consciousness of a person will change. He'll have more etzotzot, more responsibilities.
Is he like as a different person with different memories?
Yeah, no, he doesn't get a different memory. He gets more koach and avodat Hashem. What's the one example? Yeravam ben Navat. He had inside of him the ibur neshama of Yosef HaTzadik, but he lost it. Why? He was supposed to be Mashiach ben Yosef, Yeravam. Rechavam was supposed to be Mashiach ben David. That's why they have very similar names. Yeravam, Rechavam. How he's going to be Mashiach ben Yosef in the future? Who's Mashiach ben Yosef going to be? The reincarnation of who? Yosef. But Yosef doesn't need to be reincarnated. His neshama is going to come into that guy who's worthy as a ibur.
Doesn't have Omaha, right?
Yeah, unfortunate.
So how does that work then? He's gonna come
So
back?
we didn't know. He didn't finish. He lost it. He lost the ibur.
What?
He lost it. He lost that nishmat Yosef.
Oh.
He lost it.
But his soul himself.
His soul himself doesn't get Olam Haba. It gets reincarnated and that body is gone.
So what doesn't get Olam Haba? The soul or the body?
That body.
The body.
The body doesn't get
The
Olam.
soul
The
still
body,
gets
of course, the soul never gets destroyed. The body is gone. That means the body doesn't get up in Tchiyat HaMetim.
There's a lot of individuals whose bodies who don't get up.
Hmm?
There's a lot of individuals
Yeah.
whose bodies that don't get up.
We're going to learn about
It's
that.
not a big chidush per se.
Yeah.
But for Yerav Ahmed it is.
Because he was such a great individual.
He was not only great, if you learn Gemara Masechet Sanhedrin, correct me if I'm wrong, he knew the Torah, how he taught Kohanim in 140 different ways. Do you know what that is? You know what it is to learn Torah Kohanim in so many different. They usually say Shivim Panim La Torah. He knew like 140 Panim La Torah. It says in his time that tzaddikim were the people in his generation was like grass next to him. You know what grass is? Does grass have a brain? The people in his generation was like grass compared to his chokhmah. Yeah.
That's one question. So then an individual that has different gilgulim, he
Yeah.
doesn't come back as all of them. Only one comes up. No?
Yeah. in Tchiat HaMetim.
Right, Tchiat HaMetim. So essentially, though, a lot of people don't have Olam Haba.
When a person, let's take a person. Let's call him, I don't know, David. David is born. He gets married. He has kids. But he doesn't believe in Mashiach and in Tchiat HaMetim. When he dies, that neshama that's usually on the kever, is gone. That body disintegrates into nothing. David will not wake up in Tchiat HaMetim. So what happens to all of his mitzvot? It goes to another tzaddik in his shorosh neshama, and David now has to come back as a new person. Like the story Rabbi Eliezer ben Durdiya and Yochanan Kohen Gadol. One became a tzduki at the end of his life, one did tshuva at the end of his life. The Rashash explains at the end of R.Shalom, they did a switcheroo. He took his mitzvot, 80 years of Kohen Gadol walking inside, but 1 second of teshuvah, he took all of his mitzvot, and he took all the years of all the znut. It says that he did znut with every single zona in the world. This Yochanan Kohen Gadol took all of that. Could you imagine? That's called also a certain ibur. Okay? So Yeravam ben Nevat, he had Yosef HaTzadik inside of him. He was supposed to be Mashiach ben Yosef, but when God said, you, me, and David, we're all going to walk together, he says, who's going first? Hashem said King David is going first. At that second, his Ga'ava made him lose the Neshama of Yosef, and he became like his own regular himself, Yeravam. He's not Mashiach ben Yosef no more. That's why the Zohar says something extraordinary. And this is why you guys are never allowed to be mizalzel in any human being. You're not allowed to make light of any human being. The Zohar says that Mashiach doesn't know he's Mashiach until a day before he's supposed to be revealed. Why? How does that make sense? How do you not know that you're Mashiach? Because the guy who's supposed to be Mashiach before he's going to be revealed as Mashiach, how does he know that he's Mashiach? He's going to get the ibur of King David inside of him. And then it's going to start his reveal. But before that, he's just a regular guy who's praying in a shul with you. He's a guy waiting online to make shopping for Shabbat Kodesh. Al tiyeh baz lekol adam, says the Pirkei Avot.
But you're saying at the same time that the candidate for Mashiach should be a crystal clear person without any sins. So it already makes him very high level.
But there could be people who are crystal clear without sins that you don't know of them. Am I right or wrong? Those are called tzaddikim nistar. Wait a second. Those are called tzaddikim nistarim. That's it. He doesn't have to have a yeshiva with 1 million students. Do you know there are some Rosh yeshivas that their whole life with the nefesh da'asiyah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They never even reach ruach da'asiyah. Because they're being doctors when they're supposed to be lawyers. You understand what I'm saying? They're not fulfilling their mission in life. What could be your mission in life? Your mission in life could be one mitzvah, one daf of Gemara. You don't know what you came to this world for. That's why if you find out what your shorosh neshama is, you could find out what your mission is. And if you could find out what your mission is, you could tap into your unhidden potential, to your hidden potential. And you could become closer to Hashem. That's how you reach prophecy. And prophecy is a prerequisite for Mashiach, as the Rambam says. And how do you do that? By ibur nishamot tzadikim.
Finding out your short, how do you do that?
No, first of all, how do you go up the ladder over here?
No, but his question is...
But you have to know your short.
Yeah, to know your short neshama, you need a lot of siyata deshmaya. Yeah, how do you know siyata deshmaya? You have to have a zichuch hachomer.
And if a person thinks, but then he's not so sure.
If you're not sure, you're not sure. Listen.
It's always not sure. You never know for sure.
You could.
For sure you can.
Rav Chaim Vital knew for sure.
Because he had a teacher then.
Yeah, the Ariya Kadosh was able to look at a person and said to him, you're this, and
We
this.
don't have that nowadays.
We don't have that.
So I was
Crying prayer. Yes.
You know? There was a Rav Mordechai Sharabi, not long. How long ago Rav Mordechai Sharabi lived? 20, 30 years ago? Once a guy came inside his room for a blessing. His rabbi, I need a blessing. For what? He said, you need a blessing? I'm always afraid. When people come inside the shul, I always try to look at the door without getting... I said, I'm always afraid. I could hear the wind rustling outside my window at night. I get afraid. I'm always afraid. I don't know why. I ordered wolf teeth. There's a sigula from the Ben Ish Hai to get wolf teeth. The person has problem with fear. To get wolf teeth, wolf or fox, I'm not sure which. I think wolf. And you have to wear it on you. It's a sigula for fear. Yeah. And you have to. I did the lead, the oferet. Nothing helps. I'm always afraid. And the regular guy, he's a...
Hire a bodyguard.
Nobody is simple. Hire a bodyguard. So he looks at him, Rav Mordechai Sharabi, looks at him and says, you know why you're afraid? Because you come from the neshama of Atzilut. Your neshama is from the world of Atzilut, and because of that you have a very sensitive soul. So every little thing bothers you. The guy doesn't even know what the Rav Mordechai Sharabi was saying. What is it Atzilut? He got up and he left. So the student says, Rebbe, we don't understand. This guy is Atzilut? What do you think? Everybody who's from Atzilut has wings and he's flying in the air? It could be a guy waiting for his groceries. Rav Chaim Vital's brother, Rav Moshe Vital, was 10 times greater than him in his neshama. But when they were reincarnated as brothers, he lost all of his chokhmah. Why? We're going to learn this, Bezrat Hashem. When he was a Talmid Chacham, he had a lot of ga'ava in his past Gilgul. So that causes you to become not a shortay, like you're not so strong in Torah as you used to be, because you have to work even harder. So you see, guys, it's not that simple. Don't think because you're from Atzilut, you're some Admor. And a person, by the way, could be from Asiyah, and he could be an Admor. Iyov, for example, all of his neshama was from Asiyah. There's a book in the Tanakh named after him, Sefer Iyov. It's technically speaking 6 books of Moses. Why? The 6th book that Moshe Rabbeinu wrote was what? Sefer Iyov.
And then they're saying Iyov maybe it never existed.
You know why? Because anything that comes from the world of Asiyah, says the Ari, is an illusion. It's the materialistic world, and materialism is an illusion. So the Gemara hinted that by saying that Iyov never existed. They're basically saying Iyov came from the world of Asiyah. How do you like that? So there's a lot of secrets to our neshamot that we have to... It's hard for us to pinpoint, but we have to learn. We have to ask Hashem. Maybe do a She'elat Chalom. Ask from Hashem before you go to sleep. I can give you a simple She'elat Chalom without hashba'ot, without anything. Try this and see what happens. No, I'm serious. Why not? Can you only eat it? You don't know what it... You know, yeah. You have to say this pasuk before you go to sleep 72 times.
Wow.
Yeah, say this pasuk. Vayomer. Shimuna devarai. Im yeniviachem Adonai b'mara elav etvada b'halom adaber bo. It's a pasuk. They say the Rambam used to use this. It's one of the I'm not gonna say which sefer. It's the many svarim.
You just say it 72 times?
Yeah.
Do you say anything else after?
Yeah. So there is, if you say this pasuk 72 times and then think of your question and fall asleep thinking of your question, you're gonna wake up in the morning, B'ezrat Hashem, with a pasuk in your mouth. And in that pasuk is going to be the secret to your neshama. Or whatever your question was.
Or the person don't speak Hebrew, you will still say it? Or?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Do you know anyone who's done this?
Yeah, I've done it.
And you woke up?
Huh? If I'm telling you, that means I did it, no? It doesn't always work.
No, but
huh?
Did you see it actually that you woke up in the morning and
yeah, wait. Don't think these pe'ulot, you do it's going to work. You need to have a zechut for it to work. You can't come to the king's palace bilavush sak. You have to come naki. You know, this is a chut to have an answer like that.
It's true.
Right? I knew a guy, this is a true story, I knew a guy that did a different She'elat Chalom. You say a certain pasuk, and you have to think of a certain name of Hashem, and you go to sleep thinking like that. It's very hard. What happened? He woke up in the morning, and lo aleinu, he had carried. He had a seminal emission. So he asked me, why did that happen to me? I said, I tell you, because you did a very strong She'elat Chalom, and you weren't worthy for it, so instead of getting the answer, they gave you what? A smack.
It's too much information to handle. So
yeah.
It came out.
Yeah. So if you read the Zohar HaKadosh, the Zohar HaKadosh says when a person goes to sleep, before you could get to the Olamot Elyonim, you have to pass through Shlosha Shel Malachei Kabbalah. You understand? You have to. It means you have to, and you have to go with a pass. Understand? What's usually the pass to pass through these Shlosha Kitot Shel Malachei Kabbalah? Kriyat Shema L'Hamita. That's why you take the double-edged sword. What's Kriyat Shema L'Hamita? It's a double-edged sword. When they see that sword, they nasogu ahor. They move back and they let you go through. But if a person doesn't have a zechut, now there are certain mitzvot that you could do that could give you the zechut to go up straight. To pass the Shlosha Kitot Shel Malachei Kabbalah, the three camps of evil entities. What are they? Number one, to give tzedakah that day to a person, he doesn't know that you gave it to him.
You don't know who you gave it to.
And you don't know that you gave it to who you gave it to. Go online, chickens for Shabbos, 101. The only question is, will the person get your money that day?
No.
That's it. Number two, the best thing to do is to give it to a gabbai tzedakah. That gabbai tzedakah will give it out for you. That's the best. Number two, when you wear tefillin that day, don't have hesech hadat. Don't think of other things. You gotta think of your tefillin. Very hard to do. Now it doesn't mean you're gonna wear your tefillin for 2 minutes that day and you get a free pass. You gotta wear your tefillin the whole time, for shacharit at least. Okay? And there are other different sigulot that you could do. All sigulot, no, don't forget. Rachmana libabai. I once knew a person, true story, that when is the hardest time for a person to stay awake and learn Torah during the week? Gabriel.
Shabbat.
Exactly. Shabbat night. It's the hardest. Why? You finally let go of your levush of the week. You finally let go of all the hard work. You come home. You ate not 1, 2 meals, plus the fish, plus the bread. And you want to sleep so badly. You're already seeing stars. So, you get so tired, you just close your eyes. If a person during that time is midgaber ke'ari and finishes the whole book of Tehillim,
I think you're gonna say one
the whole book of Tehillim, 3 hours.
Yeah, 3 hours.
3 hours.
For me,
if a person reads fast, he can do it in 1 hour and 45 minutes.
This is after the sit with this is after everything.
Yeah, don't think that you're gonna get gifts from Hashem just like that. When it's good for you, when it's easy for you. That's why I say that people who come to the Thursday night shiur get a lot of credit. Why? It's already Thursday is shopping day. Thursday night is the day when a person, is busy. They come to shiur. It's after the Wednesday night shiur when that's when the people come and there's the food and then you come and there's no food, no nothing. It's a Pepsi and a Sprite and a Snapple. That's a big zechut, And you know what else gives you a very big zechut to get an ibur neshamot tzadikim? What's the hardest thing for a person to do? Doing a mitzvah for someone else. It's called chesed. Shopping for the shul. Doing bikur cholim. All these mitzvot, they're very big koach. Okay, so it's not easy to get answers from Hashem. Now I'm not saying that if a person does all these things, if a person reads Tehillim Shabbat night, it's a very big zechut. I remember when I was single, when I really wanted to get married, and I was trying every little thing whatever I could do to Hashem to send me my bat zug. After Shabbat, we finished the meal. I used to finish Shir Shirim 40 times. So the morning, Shir Shirim. Then I 40, not 10, 40 times. I used to, once I finished Tehillim 3 times. 3 times after the Friday night, yeah. What didn't I do? Why did I do all these things? Because I know. Ki ein lavo el hamelech b'levush sak. If you're coming to Hashem and asking Him for a gift, don't think you're going to come to Him looking like a shlomil. You have to come to Him looking like a gever, It's a lot of zchuyot you need. Especially to find your batzug. It's a very big zechut you need. You need to do a lot of stuff. And stuff that hurt. Not stuff that make you feel good. You understand? And what happens? Slowly by slowly you get ibur neshamot tzadikim. Good stuff happened to you. Why? Because you worked for it. It doesn't happen just like that, Rabotai. Okay? So it says over here that there are people that can have nefesh me'olam ha'atzilut. You know what that is? A person has a nefesh me'olam ha'atzilut. He's in the level of Nadav and Avihu. Very high level. Nadav and Avihu. Eliyahu Hanavi came from nefesh ha'atzilut. Rav Yosef Karo came from nefesh ha'atzilut. This is the big stuff. And you guys, learning Torah Tasod over here, that means you have a certain connection to Olam HaAtzilut. Yeah, if you learn Torah Tasod, that means you have a certain connection to Olam HaAtzilut. Why? Whoever just learns Chumash, he comes from the world of Asiyah. Person who learns just Mishnayot comes from the world of Yetzirah. Person who learns only Gemara, the highest he could reach is Bria. But a person who learns the Pnimiut Torah, the secrets of the Torah, he's tapping into Olam HaAtzilut. It's a very high level, Rabbi Isai. It's a very big school. I'm telling you, right now you're doing a big Aliyat Man. But you gotta do it Lishma, for the sake of becoming close to Hashem. Okay? והוא, כי נכלל הדבר הוא, כי הנפש מן העשייה והרוח מן היצירה והנשמה מן הבריאה. We know in general, there's nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya, yechida of asiyah, right? But in general, all these 5 pieces are from the family of nefesh, right? They're narnechi of nefesh, right? These are narnechi of ruach. These are narnechi of neshama, and these are narnechi the chaya, right? In general. Pardon me. אמנם, בדרך פרט הנה בכל עולם מאלו יש בו בחינת נרן. But in every world, in the world of Asiyah, there is narnechi of nefesh, narnechi of ruach, and so on and so forth. ונמצא כי לפעמים יהיה באדם נרן מעשייה יצירה בריאה. There are instances, and don't lose a beat over here, where a person could have his nefesh, his ruach, and his shama. From which worlds? Asiyah, Yetzirah, and Bria, right? That's the normal way. You have to go up the ladder. There's no jumping up the ladder. Am I right or wrong? Yes or no? Yes. You got to go slowly. Anybody who's successful will tell you that the key to success is to take things slow. But he says, "Ulifamim yelo neran mimalchut umiza umeima da'asiyah." Sometimes he says, the highest that a person could go. We just erase this. I don't want this to confuse. Sometimes he says, a person could only have his nefesh, ruach, and neshama, all of them coming just from the world of Asiyah. That means the highest he'll ever reach is what? Asiyah. He can never reach Yetzirah. You ever see those people, all their life, all they know what to do is read Tanakh. That's it. His nefesh, his ruach, and neshama all come from where? Asiyah. Very low level. ולפעמים שלושתם מן היצירה. Sometimes a person can have his nefesh, ruach, neshama all come from where? Yetzirah. That's who he is. He doesn't have anything from Asiyah. All 3 of his parts of his neshama come from where? Yetzirah. ולפעמים שלושתם מעולם הבריאה. And sometimes all 3 of them will come from where? Bria. ולפעמים כולם מן האצילות. Sometimes a person can have his nefesh, ruach, neshama all come from where? The world of what? Atzilut. Nefesh, how does he have all 3 come from Atzilut? He has nefesh. His nefesh is basically nefesh de chaya. His ruach de chaya. This is the family of chaya.
Can someone be born from that?
Yeah, that's what he's saying over here. He'll have all 3 just from Atzilut.
No, I'm saying you're born already.
Yeah, you're already just straight from Atzilut.
So that's how you become tzaddik.
But you think that person doesn't have a huge Yetzer Hara? His Yetzer Hara is going to be from the world of Atzilut too. You understand? That's why they say, don't ever put down those wild kids. You know? Ovada used to say their neshamot are bigger than their body. Because a person who's he's very, he could have a very high level neshama. It's not always the kid who's studious and this, that. It could also be opposite too. You never know. We for sure can never judge. Why? We're not the Ari HaKadosh. The Ari was able to look at you and say, Chaval al da'avdin ve'la mishtakechin. Chaval, if Hashem would give to this world one person who's like the Ari HaKadosh. Just one person. You know how much he could change this world? Even one person like Rabbi Yehuda Ptaya. This generation needs. Just one. We don't know. Our generation is so full of fakers. Yesterday, I had a phone call from some lady. Her daughter was sick. And some rabbi was selling her a kamiyah for $700. Photocopy! So she texted me and she said, is this kamiyah real? So I have a book, I opened it up and I saw that this is real. But I said to her, how much did he charge you for it? He said $700. First of all, it's not even for sickness. It's a person who ate poison, what he gave you. He totally gave you the wrong thing. Second of all, it has to be written with ink, cloth.
What if she pays and asks?
Huh? Why did she pay and then she... People are tamimim, Gavriya. People are, how you say tamim? They're simple. They're simple. They'll believe anything. People are looking for answers. This one guy I heard of, he already went off the derech. He looks at a person and tells him, you're sad, I could help you, $200 an hour. And the people are, yeah, I am very sad. Of course, your face looks like you're sad. You need help. People are tamim, simple. If you don't learn the secrets of the Torah, you could be taken off guard. Or people do pidyon nefesh. You know what pidyon nefesh is? A certain thing with silver coins. You have to buy silver coins. It has to be silver. Why? Silver is a numerical value 160. A person's shadow, his soul, his tzelem is 160. So what do people do with nickels? Quarters. It's not even silver. It's metal. It's metal.
Oh, the penny's
Penny who used to be copper. What's going on here, guys? Everybody became a baba today. Our generation, in the history of the world, has never been a generation like this. There are no people almost that you could go to for help. Almost none. That's why our generation will see Mashiach. We're so null and void of true Kedusha that only Mashiach could get us out of this. Only Him. Ruach Mizah. And you could have people like this in our generation, but they won't help you. Nishama me'ima v'chaya me'aba. Ulifamim, sometimes it's possible that a person can have his nefesh from Asiyah, ruach and nishama from Yetzirah, and sometimes it's possible to have a nefesh from Yetzirah, and your ruach and nishama from Bria. Basically, a person could have many different configurations. You don't necessarily have to start from the bottom. Like we learned at the end of the first Hagdama, a person could die, and he had all of his three parts of his soul, nefesh, ruach, neshama. So when a person gets reincarnated, he could start off as a ruach. He doesn't have to start off from a nefesh, Gabriel. Okay? You don't have to start off at the bottom. Don't forget that, guys. You guys don't know the worth of your neshama. Ulifamim nefesh mibriya v'ruach u'neshama ma'atzilut. Sometimes a person can start from nefesh de briya, and he can have ruach and neshama from atzilut. It's a different configuration. Very high level people.
Question.
Yeah.
Was born Benny Dak, can he ever be born with the top?
Of course.
Could he be born like that?
Shabtai tzvi shem rishayim yirkav. He reached the level of briya.
No, I'm saying the fact that you started off with the higher levels, no, right?
Even if a person is ben nida, he could be in that level. Doesn't matter. A person has his tests for a reason that he doesn't know why he came in a certain way to this world. וכן הדרך, זה בכל פרט ופרט שבכל עולם דל אביה כנודע, כי כל עולם מאלו הדל עולמות כלול הוא מכל דל עולמות אביה ומיהות ספירות וכן מעשר עד אין מספר. There are so many different configurations. I'm just showing you guys one picture. But in each one of these worlds there is Bria of Atzilut, Yitzirah of Atzilut, Asiyah of Atzilut. There's Atzilut Bria Yitzirah Asiyah of Bria. There's Atzilut Bria Yitzirah of Yitzirah, Atzilut Bria Yitzirah of Asiyah. There's so many different configurations. Like I told you guys in the beginning of the shiur, every shorsh neshama starts off with 3 avot. It goes to 12 shvatim, 70 people who went down to Egypt, 600,000 people who came out, and for every 600,000 shorashim have 600,000 nitzotzot. That's how many. That's only one shorash, and there's 613 shorashim. Could you imagine how many nishamot could be broken down into how many pieces? In every world, every nishama, there isn't 2 people from the same shorish nishama. There can't be 2 people from the same soul. Every hair on your head comes from a different pore. If 2 hairs come out of the same pore, what happens to a person? He gets blind. It causes an electric shock to a person's brain, and he loses his eyesight. So
what's an ingrown hair?
Ingrown hair? I don't know.
It goes back in instead of coming out. It just goes back.
That's what ingrown hair. There you go. Listen, guys, we're not talking about science over here. I don't know. Okay, this is what I remember. I'm just giving you a mashal. I'm just letting. We could both be, for example, from Shorosh Hevel, let's say. But I'm gonna come from a different sphera, and you're gonna come from a different sphera. And there's room for all of us. Don't worry. There's a lot of room. There's a lot of work to do, Rabotai. Look at it. אין כוח בכל מוס להעריב בכל הפרטים האלו, כולם כי עצום מספר. I says, I can't write even how many different configurations there are. I don't have enough ink, says Rav Chaim Vital. והמשכיל יבין ויקיש מעצמו. A person who's smart will be able to work this out. He says over here, אבל צריך שתדע. כי מה שאמרנו שלפעמים יהיה לו נרן מן היצירה או מן הבריאה, אין כוונתנו לומר שאין לו נפש מצד העשייה כלל. כי הנה נודע שאפילו השכינה הנקראת מלכות היא מקננה בעשייה, מכל שכן נפש של האדם. אבל כוונתנו לומר כי הנפש של האדם הבאה מעשייה תזדקק כל כך עד שאינה נרגשת בערך סיבת אור הנפש דיצירה, שבו ואז נקרא הכל נפש דיצירה. So now I have to explain to you one thing. Can I get up or not? Yeah? Okay. So we said, let's take one example. I told you guys that there is a guy who could have his nefesh, his ruach, and neshama all come from where? Yitzirah. So you asked me a question, so that means I don't have to start from the bottom? So Dari says, wait a second. That's not necessarily true. Every person has a spark, a nefesh in the world of Asiyah. There's no kind of thing, you're all from Yitzirah. You're all from Bria. You're all from Atzilut. Of course, you have to have something in Asiyah too. You need to have a base. Even the Shekhinah, the divine presence, where does it rest? In which world? The world of Asiyah. So how come I could say to you that a person can have his nefesh, ruach, and neshama from Yitzirah? And look at the beauty. Look at the beauty, says the Ari Kadosh. Sometimes a person will do so many mitzvot. He will become so purified. He will run away from his desires in this world. His nefesh, poof, it will be sucked into his nefesh from Yitzirah. It's as if he never had a nefesh from Asiyah. He turns his nefesh, the Asiyah, to the same level of nefesh, the Yitzirah. He was able to take this, the lowest level, and bring it up to here. You know what that is? That's what we do every Shabbat through our prayers. He took his whole world of Asiyah and he brought it back to where? He included it in Yetzirah. That's our whole job in this world, by the way. Because this is the world of the Klipot. This is the world of Klipot.
The world of doing, no?
Huh? The world of, materialization. Our job, is to take this Asiyah and bring it back up to Yitzirah. Bring all the worlds to be included into the world above it.
So then from there you
you can do it. This is called Tchum Shabbat. Why can't you carry on Shabbat more than 2,000 amot out of the city? Tchum Shabbat. Because on Shabbat, automatically all the worlds go up. On Shabbat, automatically all of us get Ibur Neshama. So this over here becomes what? No Kedusha left over there. Everything becomes the world of Kali. So you can't carry out of the Tchum Shabbat. You can't even walk out of the Tchum Shabbat. Forget about carry. You can't walk outside 2,000 amot from the city. Such a high level, as a Jewish person, what kind of potential you could tap into. And sometimes, R.Shalom, it gets all wasted. Okay? So that's the reason why he said a person has a nefesh of Yitzirah, but it's really not that he has a nefesh of Yitzirah, it's really what? That he had a nefesh of Asiyah, but he was able to bring it up to the level of what? Nefesh of Yetzirah, till the nefesh of Asiyah became disqualified or included. Nichlal betoch the nefesh of Yetzirah. Okay, one more line and we'll call it a day. It's too much, it's not also good. Tafasta me'at tafasta. Same thing with all the other things I said, says the Marchu. Even if I tell you that you have a nefesh ruach neshama from Atzilut, hu biyotam mitlabeshim toch hanefesh ruach neshama da'asiyah yitzira b'riyah. It's only once you reach and we're able to beat the levels of asiyah, yitzira, and b'riyah, and then I can tell you that you have a nefesh ruach neshama of atzilut. Ela sheinam olim b'shem, but they're not counted. Kulam mitpalim v'nikrim b'shem atzilut. They became so purified. Your nefesh of asiyah became so pure that it's already called atzilut. If you get to that level of shomer Torah and mitzvot. Now, how do you get to the world of atzilut? Just two more words. I want to give you guys a couple of tips how to do this. A couple of tips that I was learning in the book of Zahav Sheva of Rabbi Shimon Agassi, and he says over there something amazing. He says the way to get to atzilut, the way to level up in general, you have to purify yourself in stuff. First of all, for sure, you can't do any averot. That's for sure. Averot, you have to already be on the level that you keep Shulchan Aruch. That's out. But how do you get to the level of Atzilut? That already, you have to purify yourself in stuff that you're allowed to do. For example, how come tzaddikim wouldn't eat meat during the week? Am I allowed to eat meat during the week? It's a mitzvah to eat meat. Talmid Chacham has to eat meat. Amaret is not allowed to eat meat. Why would tzaddikim not eat meat then? By not eating meat during the week, they were making themselves kadosh. They were purifying themselves, making themselves ready to get ibur neshamot tzaddikim to level up to the world of atzilut. It's not simple that, for example, something as simple as wearing a hat and jacket while you pray. Something as simple as wearing a hat and jacket while you pray. Do you have to? Technically speaking, you don't. As long as you're covered, right? You're covered. Even if a person lives in a very hot place, and the way to walk outside, it's very normal, is to walk with shorts and a t-shirt, you can even pray like that, says the Yalkut Yosef. But if a person, even though he wears a hat and jacket while he prays, he's making himself kadosh in what he's allowed to do. Hitkadesh b'ma shemutar lecha, and that way you level up to higher levels of kedusha that you never imagined that you can reach. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen v'amen. Shabbat shalom lekulam.